The starship Elysium drifted silently through the void, its hull scarred from years of interstellar travel. Captain Alara Voss stood on the observation deck, her sharp green eyes scanning the endless expanse of space. Behind her, the crew worked tirelessly, their faces gaunt and their movements sluggish. Rations had run out weeks ago, and the ship's hydroponic gardens had failed due to a malfunctioning environmental system. They were starving. Alara clenched her fists. She had promised her crew they would find a solution, but hope was fading faster than their strength. The Elysium was light years away from the nearest human colony, and their distress signals had gone unanswered. They were alone. "Captain," a weak voice called from behind her. It was Lieutenant Jax, his once broad shoulders now hunched from malnutrition. "We've picked up a signal. It's faint, but it's there." Alara turned, her heart pounding. "What kind of signal?" "It's alien," Jax replied, his voice trembling. "It's not human, but it's repeating a pattern. Coordinates." Alara's mind raced. An alien signal could mean danger or salvation. She made her decision quickly. "Set a course for those coordinates. We don't have a choice." The Elysium emerged from hyperspace near a small, unassuming planet. Its surface was a patchwork of lush green forests and shimmering blue oceans, but there were no signs of advanced civilization. No cities, no ships, no orbital stations. Just a signal, growing stronger with every passing moment. "Take us down," Alara ordered. "We'll land near the source." The ship descended through the atmosphere, its engines groaning in protest. As they touched down on a grassy plain, the crew gathered in the cargo bay, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and hope. Alara stepped forward, her hand resting on the hilt of her plasma pistol. "Stay alert," she said. "We don't know what we're dealing with." The ramp lowered, revealing a world unlike anything they had ever seen. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers, and the ground beneath their feet was soft and warm. In the distance, a strange structure rose from the earth, a towering spire made of a material that seemed to shift and shimmer in the light. As they approached, the signal grew louder, resonating in their minds as much as their ears. It was a melody, haunting and beautiful, and it drew them forward like a siren's song. At the base of the spire, they found the source of the signal, a massive, circular door covered in intricate carvings. Alara reached out to touch it, and the door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the air was cool and filled with a faint, golden glow. "This is it," Alara whispered. "Stay close." The interior of the spire was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, each one filled with strange artifacts and glowing crystals. The crew moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the silence. Then they found it. In the center of the spire was a vast chamber, its walls lined with shelves that stretched from floor to ceiling. On those shelves were thousands of containers, each one filled with a substance that looked like liquid gold. In the center of the room was a pedestal, and on that pedestal was a single, glowing orb. Alara approached the orb, her hand trembling as she reached out to touch it. The moment her fingers made contact, the orb flared to life, and a voice filled the chamber. "Welcome, travelers," the voice said, its tone warm and melodic. "You have come seeking sustenance, and we have provided." Alara's eyes widened. "Who are you?" "We are the keepers," the voice replied. "Long ago, we foresaw the struggles of those who would come after us. We built this place as a sanctuary, a place where the hungry could find nourishment and the weary could find rest." The crew exchanged glances, their hope growing with every word. "The containers hold a nutrient-rich substance," the voice continued. "It will sustain you, heal you, and give you the strength to continue your journey." Alara turned to her crew. tears welling in her eyes. Take what you need, but be careful. We don't know what this is. The crew hesitated, but their hunger overcame their fear. They opened the containers and began to eat, their movements frantic at first, then slowing as the substance filled them with warmth and energy. Alara watched in awe as color returned to their faces and strength to their limbs. It was a miracle, one they had desperately needed. As the crew ate their fill, Alara explored the chamber further. She found a series of holographic displays that told the story of the Keepers. They had been an ancient, advanced civilization that had once thrived in this part of the galaxy. But they had foreseen their own demise and chosen to leave behind a legacy of kindness and compassion. We could not save ourselves, one display read, but we could save others. Take what you need and remember us. Alara felt a lump in her throat. The Keepers had known they were doomed, yet they had used their final days to create something that would outlast them. It was a selfless act, one that humbled her to her core. When the crew had finished eating, they gathered around Alara, their spirits lifted and their strength restored. "What now, Captain?" Jax asked. Alara smiled. "We take what we need and continue our journey. But we won't forget this place or the Keepers." The Elysium lifted off from the planet, its cargo hold filled with containers of the golden substance. As they ascended into the stars, Alara looked back at the spire, now just a tiny speck on the surface of the planet. "Thank you," she whispered. The crew returned to their duties, their energy renewed and their hope restored. They had been on the brink of death, but one meal had changed everything. As the Elysium disappeared into the void, the spire's signal faded into silence, its purpose fulfilled. The Keepers were gone, but their legacy would live on, in the hearts of those they had saved, and in the stars that would guide them home. Epilogue. Months later, the Elysium reached a human colony, its crew alive and well. They shared their story with the colonists, who listened in awe. The golden substance was analyzed and replicated, becoming a vital resource for struggling settlements across the galaxy. Alara never forgot the Keepers. She often wondered if they had known how far their kindness would reach, if they had understood the impact of their final act. In the end, it didn't matter. The Keepers had given her crew a second chance, and Alara vowed to honor their legacy by helping others in need. Because in the vast, cold expanse of space, even the smallest act of kindness could change everything. And sometimes, all it took was one meal.